Вы видите, она не бегает. Это ящерица. Это весна сейчас. 17 апреля 2013. Март. Апрель. Я вхожу в энергетику. Это ящерица, она входит в мою. Я пытаюсь быть уравновешенным и не нести энергии страха и беспокойства. И она автоматически все это чувствует. И значит не убегает. А вот и я. Привет. Что ящерица, сколько ты еще будешь? Любишь сниматься для всех? Для интернета? Если вы замечаете, у нее 2 руки, 2 ноги. Конечно, вот у нее 4 ноги получается, но все равно. Наши руки тоже где-то ноги. По крайней мере, мысль такова, что она похожа на нас, и мы похожи на нее. Отсюда вывод. Мы не очень далеки. По мышлению, по энергетике, по чакрам, по душе, по духу. То есть это братья наши. Не обязательно меньше, они просто другие. Но это не НЛО, это не другие цивилизации. Это животный мир, ящерица. Попробуй снимать ее вообще рядом, если, конечно, она не убежит. Если вероятность, что убежит. Ой, ничего себе. Ой, блин. Она атаковала этот мобильник мой. И даже укусила его. Вот это да. Вот это, блин, какая. Она с таким же успехом может кусать меня за палец. Вот это ящерица. Она очень. Получается, что она очень... Ух ты. Она пытается на меня напасть. Надо. Оказывается, ребята, она не любит, когда ее снимают. Дело в том, что она не влияет, что вы будете смотреть на нее. Ящерица что-то такая агрессивная. Мы же к тебе с любовью вроде. Хочу тебе показать всему миру, вот и все. Ты чувствуешь такую агрессию от аппарата, от мобильника. Да, малышка, что-то ты меня, блин, призадумался. Неужели мир это полон любви и доброты? На фоне того, что нападаешь. Она, короче, укусила мобильник, представляете? Она, наверное, даже не видна. Ящик. Что такое агрессивный? Вот ты вроде добрый. Что ты позоришь? Позоришь животный мир через свою агрессию. Ящерица, не веди себя непристойно. Не надо себя вести плохо. Вот шаманы, самые крутые экстрасенсы. Они, конечно, могут войти в сознание ящерицы, читать ее мысли. Это поднимем мобильник. Может быть, вы ее увидите прямо от близкого расстояния. Давай. Видите, она открыла рот. Ну что? Что ты такая агрессивная? Мы хотим тебя показать всему миру. Ну давай, открой рот.
Rural residents also get chance to join the performing team if their performance is up to standard, and they will be paid for
Видимо, это какая-то ящерица абсолютно сама по себе, по жизни. То есть она до такой степени своенравная, что она... Да, снимает. Она такая своенравная, что она даже не знает, что люди могут быть опасны, что они могут убить ее. Мне, конечно, повезло со мной. Это, конечно, добрый мальчик.
Said in an interview confidently that he hoped the villagers would jump on the CCTV Spring Festival Gala. One day, a director from the Beijing television station went to nearby village and invited a tap dancing team to perform in the Spring Festival Gala. Sun Qi is the general director of the gala.
But our dancing director said their dancing was just so-so, but I really appreciated their vigor. Только хороший, только миросердный. Ящерица, будь активной, что ты? Давай. So the final reason that drove me to choose them was their vigor and their spirit. Ящерица, да, сейчас видно их. Ящерица, красавица. At that time, I was very, very So when I was backstage, I felt really relaxed. Ребята, хотите ящерицу на фоне слов Лазарева о духовности, религии, вообще, что я найду о нем? Сейчас попробую делать эту вещь. Сразу у нас Лазарев такой, как бы, хороший мальчик, в общем-то и в целом. Попробуем его поставить. Сергей Николаевич Лазарев. Тот, который говорит все время. Правда, у него есть очень слабый. О, убегает наш ящик. Устал. Даже здесь Лазарев отрицательный герой нашего времени. Даже здесь.
The classic children's book, The Little Prince, is 70 years old. It is both the most read and most translated French book, and was voted right as the best book of the 20th century. Originally written as novella, the book...
Ребята, мы поставим, правда, по-английски. Самый знаменитый, ну, с моей точки зрения, может быть, есть, конечно, более знаменитый журналист по эзотерике. Зовут этого журналистку Лилу Массе. Лилу Массе. Вот эта Лилу Массе, сейчас она будет говорить об пирамидах майя и о целительстве. И вот мы сейчас послушаем. Звука нет. Все. Заодно я сам буду, я люблю эти вещи, сам послушаю немножко это все. Мне нравится все новое слушать у Лили Мате. Зовут его Альберто Хагар. Юкатан, Мексика, этого парня.
Hello, my beautiful co-creators. Lilu here. I'm in beautiful Yucatan, absolutely stunning, beautiful Yucatan with Alberto Agar. Hello.
Hello, how you doing, Lilu? And extend the most cordial welcome to all your audiences out there. It is a privilege to be in this interview with you, haven't met you, or re-encounter you again, along as all of our viewers for sure. And
Мы посмотрим, как еще среагирует наша это, как ее, наша ящерица. Бежит ли она, или она будет вечно с нами? Блин, мой этот... Ящерица, ну что ты там?
hello, how you doing, Lilu? And extend the most cordial welcome to all your audiences out there. It is a privilege to be in this interview with you, haven't met you, or re-encounter you again, along as all of our viewers for sure. And we're just going to go straight to...
I'm very excited to be interviewing you because I've heard great things, and this is one of those synchronistic encounters, and I'm really, my heart is pounding fast. I know that this is precious information you're going to give us in this video and that you're able to expose to us. This is not a common interview. This is not an ordinary one, and I really welcome you to pay close attention to what's going to be said and to listen from the heart. Tell us where we're sitting here. You're an you're an RKO astrologer, right? So, astronomer.
That's correct, astronomer. This is a kind of a strange word, not very common known by people, but briefly I'll explain to you. An archaeoastronomer is a multidisciplinary activity using exact sciences that it's focused on studying ancient civilizations, how they built, how they created, how they understood the universe, and how they were able to copy it on a smaller scale on planet Earth. Basically, that's what it is. It involves mathematics, geometry, architectural design, music, organic engineering, chemistry.
Yeah.
Incredibly, as we might sound, the Mayas were very, very well aware of chemistry and the amino acids. And
So tell us where we're at right now and why you chose to do this interview in this place and what does it represent? Because I know in Yucatan there's so many ruins, there's so many different places. What are those? Where are we? What are we sitting on, actually?
well, I just heard this little voice that said, you know, it was meant to be done here in Yaщерица because this was your place of birth long ago. So you're back. So we are actually at your home. So
How do you call it?
it's Yaщерица, and it's one of the oldest and important centers. I don't call them Mayan ruins. I call Mayan ruins the cities where we dwell now, because that's where you'll find government-constructed houses, you know, where they live in small little places, no chance to meet with Mother Nature. These are cities, sleeping universities with lots of information for us. This particular one has got one of those over there, and that side has got one of the largest and most important sack beds, which is the white rose the Mayans used to build. That also contains many secrets. That's like a whole new interview can be done just on the sack beds. But mainly, in order to go directly into the subject, we first need to understand that the Mayan calendar has ended. But most people that were studying or working on Mayan cosmogony and Maya cosmovisions were basing their studies on December 22nd, 2012, you know, and with the catastrophic part of it, we will see how all kinds of aliens arriving on planet Earth and saving us from evil, monsters emerging out of the cenotes and the oceans and all that kind of stuff that are only well-supported and well-programmed deviators from the actual Mayan truth. Now, that carnival, as we said before, has ended, and people just wrap their customs and their toys and everything, and they don't have to wait another 26,000 years so that they have a chance again to do what they were doing. Actually, there's lots of people that are hardly really disappointed that nothing happened. First of all, the Mayans had prophecies. Yes, they had prophecies. They prophesied about the end of the world, not the end of the planet, which are completely two different things. The end of the planet is not going to happen, at least in another 10 million years for sure it's not going to happen. The end of the world, yes, that world is collapsing. What do we understand of the world, according to the Mayan cosmogony? The way our society is structured based on 4 institutions that I personally call them gigantic clubs of testosterone, because they're created by men, ruled by men, and addressed for men. And it's 4 institutions, which is political, religious, economical, and military. What is that they have in common? They all lack of the divine feminine. The feminine factor has been systematically taken away from the formula in order to have total control over population. That world is collapsing. And any of those institutions that do not match up and bring in women, not as equal, because we are different, we are complementary, is going to disappear, it's going to collapse, it's going to reduce to. It's going to enter into an etap of chaos we can see now. For instance, banking systems, are collapsing all over the world, the economy, warfare, indirectly pharmaceutical industries, the world of medicine, all of those, because, for instance, medicine, it's a natural feminine field that was stolen, taken over by men. And these institutions have like the doctor and the nurse. You got the rabbi or the priest and the nun. You got the general and the sergeant or the captain. Once in a while you will see, but...
How is that linked to the Mayan culture?
The Mayan cosmogony was equal in gender, equitative in gender, men and women. Everything they did, everything they wrote, everything they left behind as a legacy to ourselves, to modern society, is based on balance between men and women. That's what it is. And at the beginning, when you first enter the Mayan cosmology, you might not notice. But as you go through, and then you are able to interact with priests and priestesses and understand the way they build their architecture, the design, the way they heal, the healing process, the medicine.
Интернет, что за мокро? Интернет. Ничего, сейчас заработает. Интернет, что за мокро? Должен работать, я не знаю.
Talk about that you were able to show that every single thing in their culture, including what they ate, how they built things, everything was related and was in perfect harmony.
That is correct. They built and they created their own universe, understanding exactly the place where they were living, which is in between the macro and the microcosmos. Right? They say, well, here we are, we're in between. We have understood that the universe has got this sacred geometry and these aesthetics that rule everything, and we know that in microcosmos, Mother Nature, to the smallest point, they were able to access biological chemistry by using psychotropicals. That's why those Mayan medicines, some of them are considered to be forbidden, are actually tools to enter that micro-universe. They were able to understand everything has got this aesthetics, this signature that the primary cause of creation gives to everything. So they say, we're in between this micro world, that macro universe. So everything we do, everything we build, everything we touch, everything we alter has got to be within those scales, fractally of the planet, fractally of the universe. Therefore, we have performed over 7,000 field work testing And the error we have had is only 1.4, 1.5%. So we are talking exact sciences. We have been able to rescue their measuring units, how they applied and how they built it. Even the smallest bead on a collar to the biggest pyramid we can find from them, it was based and built with those fractal measurements from the planet. Of course, before they do that, you have got to have music, because everything we see, we are musical archetypes. Everything we see in the Mayan world is frozen music on stone, on solid stone.
Yeah, and so what we're sitting on right now was like a house. Was it a temple? Was it how are they interlinked? Because it's covering. Tell us how wide this, not empire, but how wide this Mayan territory is, and how are they linked to each other? Because this is very international people listening here. I call them co-creators.
Co-creators, that's correct. And I like the word because we are co-creators of our own reality. And we've got to take over now and start doing that, because all the catastrophic, all that carnival has ended, and it's time to get to work. Yeah, it's very simple. The Mayas, as well as the Chinese and the Hindus and the Sumerians, Egyptians, Teotihuacans, they were able to decode that the universe is based on a matrix that contains 7 supercomputers, I call them. You can find them on the internet or study some other books in which they address to them as the 7 magic squares. For instance, Benjamin Franklin at that time was a fanatic out of them. These 7 grids are named after one of those heavenly bodies we see, starting with the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Moon. The Earth doesn't count because it is the point of view. And then comes Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Kundalini, those 7 heavenly bodies give a name to one of those 7 days of the week, in Spanish and English and many other languages. And therefore, the book of Genesis tells us that when the universe was created, it was created, but it took 7 days. But the word day doesn't mean like 24 hours, it means going through. The word day means going through. So light, primary cause of creation, actually passed through 7 supercomputers, so that light gets supercomputerized and decrease of its intensity, and then coagulate in world as we know it. They understood it, they studied them, they were able to obtain those matrices, and then everything they did was based on that. They reproduced on scale, on a small scale, what the universe has got. So you will see a city here, and applying the geomancy, which is an ancient capacity that mainly is done by women, in which they speak to planet Earth, and the Earth speaks back to them, to the priestess, and tells them, here we have a vortex for Venus. Over there we got a vortex for Mars. Over there we got the Moon. So the male side comes in now, and then they start building and cutting the stones, and then they build, based on those vortexes, they build a building or a pyramid based on that pattern, that particular pattern. Therefore, you reproduce on scale the cities. And you get like a sun in the middle, and you got a solar system around and spinning. So each one of these buildings are actually representing on a smaller scale those 7 heavenly bodies out there, and obtaining the forces emanating from them. And it is not a gravitational force. It is a subtle force. It's the Oregon. Wilhelm Reich, you can Google Wilhelm Reich, you know what the pyramids are all about. And now it is well proven that you can find nearby the pyramids up to 1,000 times more ions in the atmosphere than what you get normally walking in any other place. So these are heating machines, because when you have that amount of ions, there's no bacteria growing, there's no fungus growing, no viruses.
It's like vortexes too.
Vortexes, yes, because the pyramid creates them. That slope creates the vortexes, enhances, and they have the chambers on the inside, which is, I call them the organic chambers after Wilhelm Reich. That's what's inside of it. Those people want to know this? No, they don't want. Who, especially pharmaceutical industries? No, they don't want you to know that you are meant to live in perfect health.
Yeah. So such a setup help to optimize. I mean, what does it do in their daily lives to be living in such an environment like that? And then we can talk about how big this is and how they're interconnected.
Yeah, The ancient Maya, no, only the Mayas, but the Mayas, we're talking about the Mayas. The Mayas cosmovision, the Mayan cosmology is based on two columns, we can call them, two columns. One of them is construction, and the other one is healing. If we build properly, then we heal, then we can evolve. And by bringing down those, I call them geoplastic spirals, bring them down, you put them on the sack bed, it goes into the cenotes underwater, then everywhere. It's such a brief time we are passing through this material experience that you might say, well, you don't get much out of it. You get everything out of it. You get to be healthy all the time you're living. You get to have food. You're able to evolve and study Mother Nature, which is the ultimate spirituality, because it's God's signature. So that's the big thousands of years in perfect harmony.
And how were they bring to other sites then? How big is this?
Well, this one, as you can see, is the Mexican government has not much of a budget recently, but this is about 4 square feet. Pretty good size. But the recent studies are demonstrating that what we call the Mayan Empire, they were not like an empire, they were like states, state cities, like the Greeks, sort of, that they got around. We'll talk about this right now. And the conclusion.
Интернет, ты чё замолк? Должен работать. Ой, блин, ящерица. Кстати, вот я человек, а она ящерица. Мы равны. Похожи друг на друга. Ящерица. Привет. Ты еще не устала от нас? Людей-то. Мой интернет приказал долго жить. Ребята, вот тебе и животный мир. Животный мир. Животный мир. Мы сейчас посмотрим еще что-то другое. Называется «Правда об НЛО». Правда об НЛО. Это будет наш русский язык.
Краушен Продакшн представляет НЛО. Секретные файлы.
У нас есть неопознанный объект.
Пережили НЛО. Дэн Эйкройд один приближается.
2001,
В 2001 началась моя космическая одиссея. Я не летал на Луну, Юпитер или другие Солнечной системы. Я просто встретился с Дэном Эйкройдом для разговора об НЛО. Я понял, что нужно дать ему возможность рассказать всю правду миллионам людей, сомневающихся в существовании НЛО. Разговаривая с Эйкройдом, я вспомнил Эйнштейна, смешного гения, который говорил сущую правду, хотя
Не заходи под землю, не надо. Останься еще с нами.
вы бы поверили. Но он об этом не говорит. А Дэн Эйкройд рассуждает об НЛО как настоящий ученый. Зондирование Эйкройда. Дэн, как ты начал заниматься изучением НЛО? Что тебя заинтересовало? Какое событие подвигло тебя к поиску информации об этом? Я родился в июле 1952 года. Когда мне было 8 лет, мне на глаза попался журнал с фотографией НЛО на обложке. Мне это понравилось. Ну, знаете, просто понравилось. То есть я заинтересовался НЛО еще в детстве. Я расспрашивал об этом родителей, но они, конечно, не могли сказать, что это такое, потому что не знали. Потом я посмотрел фильм.
Да не убегай ты, блин, добрый.
Когда Земля остановилась. Он напрямую был связан с идеями инопланетных пришельцев. Сегодня это очевидно. Если мы посмотрим на деятельность человека за последние столетия, то увидим, что вся она направлена на разрушение нашей планеты.